just keeps hitting, Ben. Third hit of the night for the freshman Watson. A battle all the way through a bat, and it looked like he was either trying to throw him a cutter or a slider that just didn't have much slide to it. Stayed right in the middle of the plate, up in a spot that Watson could go get it, drives it beyond Wells, who was playing a little bit more shallow than I thought he would. When I looked up, I thought he'd be a little bit deeper. Even if he is deeper, I'm not sure if he gets to it, but it's a 2-out RBI by Watson, and the Tigers, after a 5-spot in the second, have now put 2 more on the board here in the 9th.
Will Zerzow's going to come on in for Florida State. Things have grounded to a bit of a halt here. LSU looking to move on. 7-2, they lead it in the top of the 9th.
New Zealand's rematched Team USA for sport's oldest trophy. But after the incredible comeback last time round, the Kiwis will be out for revenge.
The rematch is on.
The America's Cup match, live on BT Sport.
This season on baseball, Mike Trout heads to work. Clayton Kershaw's pitching mad. And Giancarlo Stanton contemplates the 600-foot home run. It looks like Mookie's feeling good. And so are these guys. This season, it's loose, but not too loose. Because everyone is after it. That's this season on baseball.
Welcome back. They are getting set in Los Angeles. Cody Bellinger. I mean, we don't just hit homers. We now lead the league in homers on a team that's got Corey Seager, who went yard 3 times last night. Cody Bellinger, 22 home runs this season. It comes up next. We'll start that one on ESPN2. And as soon as we wrap up here at TD Ameritrade at the College World Series, they will hop over to ESPN.
Corey Seager didn't play here, but his brother did.
Kyle played
Seager here
yeah.
for a few years at North Carolina. Back-to-back years, they finished runner-up.
Kyle hits a walk-off double. Kyle hits a walk-off double 2 nights ago. Corey's like, yeah, whatever, dude.
Brother hits 3 bombs.
3 bombs.
Thanks, I got you. Will Zerzau, who was really good in the postseason so far for Florida State, on just to try to get him in and see if they can get a little offensive magic in the bottom of the 9th inning. But that man right there has been a big part of this LSU offense through the second half of the season, and especially today. 3 hits for the freshman. Watson drives in another run there with that last double. We haven't seen yet Watson really defend in center field. He just hadn't had that many opportunities. But Ben, we were down in Hoover, and he put on a defensive clinic for about 5 days in a row.
I mean, he can really, and it's amazing how quickly Watson has adapted to that position. Shortstop in high school, coming out, gets on campus, and there he puts him into the outfield, and he has not looked back. Nope.
And guys, considering all the speed on this LSU team, Paul Mainieri thinks Zach Watson is the fastest. Now, I don't know if he told Cole Freeman that, but he thinks that.
Left field, Luke going back and still going back. The wind got it, but he got it before it does hit the ground. LSU's got 7. They add 2. That makes it a little easier for Jared Poche as he is set to come on out. See if he can close this one in the 9th. He's got to deal with 4, 5, and 6.
Good morning, Captain Obvious.
I've just earned a reward night with Hotels.com. So actually,
it's a great morning, and rewards the whole night through. Great morning to you.
Full English?
No, I'm a hungry American.
Great morning to you and you and who? Great morning to you.
Hotels.com.
Take the guesswork out of finding credit cards and loans with Experian Credit Matcher. It gives you free access to your Experian credit score forever and can help you find the credit cards and loans you're more likely to be accepted for. Take the guesswork out at Experian.co.uk.
State made teams pay for mistakes all season long.
Oh, what a play by Rutschman, and he'll get a double play out of it. And that one is up the middle, off the bat of Adley Rutschman. Oregon State runs its winning streak to 22.
Harris in left field, grand slam, and the first one ever at TD Ameritrade.
Once they start to smell blood, the foot is on the pedal.
We're back, everybody, as the NCAA College World Series presented by Capital One. Yeah, what they also do, Oregon State, they smelled it from the first batter the other night. One batter.
Yep.
One pitch, one bunt. Boom, we're at second base. We got to run. It's 1-zip, and we're on our way.
First pitch, bunt single. Second pitch, hit and run. Third at bat, base hit by Larnach. Sixth time that Oregon State has been to the College World Series. They've won it twice. 23-game win streak. It's the second time they've done that. You are reading that correctly. 2 times this year. 2 separate 23-game win streaks. You got to think, though, Ben, they're going to face Mr. Lang on Friday night.
Yeah, and he'll have to be good.
Oh, have to be very good, absolutely. But the one thing, and this is not meant to take anything away from Oregon State, but LSU walked them 12 times.
They did.
Yeah. I mean, it was, they took full advantage of it clearly.
And Clippard continues to labor and struggle, and the Yankees need to straighten this guy out. So he's standing there on the mound with Joe, who might be saying, don't walk off until no, he is going to go off himself. Let's see what the stadium tells him. And very clever people on the scoreboard, they turned on the Aroldis Chapman music as he was walking off, drowning out what boos could be heard.
There, Michael, you got Matt Holliday in the 5th inning, opposite field, making this game a 4-3 game. 1 run. Matt Holliday getting on the board against a guy in Velasco he's done well against, and then Romine wraps it to left center field, double, scoring Headley and Sanchez for 2 RBI. Those of your Land Rover drivers in the game.
So the Yankees lead 8-4. Still nobody out here in the 9th inning. Tyler Clippard left to ponder the double and the home run that he just served up. So now Chapman in his 2nd game off the DL. We'll try to get the final 3 outs. Obviously not a save situation. And C.J. Cron pops it up. A long run for Carter, but it makes the seats. As I said when he was walking off, Al, a noble experiment by Joe Girardi, but now that he gave up the 2 runs, was it better that he didn't pitch?
Well, I mean, hindsight, yeah. I mean, if you say that you're bringing a guy in now, does he feel any better right now than he did yesterday? No. I mean, he just gave up 3 last night, now 2, and not recording it out. But my feeling when we saw him warming up was, yes, bring him in. You have a 6-run lead. 6-run lead. I know it's not insurmountable, but, you know, when would you bring him in? I guess the next, you say experiment, is that where you bring him in a 6-run deficit? You got to get Tyler Clippard right. The wheels didn't just completely fall off. He's got to get his confidence back and do the things that he's done so well often in his career. And right now he's in a funk. And you're not going to do it. He's going to get side days, going to work with Larry Rothschild, get the feel for the changeup, get better command of the fastball, but you got to get out on the bump in a real game. So yeah, crystal ball after giving up 2 runs, no, he feels worse now than he did last night.
2-2 count. Socia didn't like that strike call on a 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
Well, he's setting up in, so that's where. Now that's the only way a manager, players from the bench, they could see the glove reaching. But because where Romine was setting, that was on the corner. But from the bench, it looks like it was outside.
Broken bat looper into right field, and it's run down by Castro for the first out.
We were doing the ho-hum 100-mile-an-hour with Betances here. Chapman comes in throwing 102. That is sawed off firewood right there from Cron's bat. Shattered bat. Nice job. Starlin Castro going a long way.
Also, Al, another note about Clippard. You give guys a much longer leash with track records. And that's why you keep running Masahiro Tanaka out there. Ground ball to third off the bat of Espinosa. And the Yankees are out away. And you're going to do that with Clippard, who's been doing this a long time, has been a closer. As I said, a sub-3 ERA for his career. Those guys get longer looks and longer leashes. Yankees lead 8-4. And last chance for the Angels, Eric Young Jr. Chapman was on the DL from May 14th, retroactive to May 13th to June 18th. He had left shoulder rotator cuff inflammation, and he missed 33 games. Pitched a perfect inning in the 8th on Sunday against the A's, and now this is his second outing since coming off the DL. And now he's a strike away from ending the Yankees' losing streak. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. 103 miles an hour. And the Yankees' 7-game losing streak is over. So Chapman retires all 3 that he faces, and the Yankees win this one by a score of 8-4. Let's take a look at that last pitch.
Yeah, it's the emphatic 103. I mean, amazing. 92-mile-an-hour slider. No chance from Eric Young Jr. And there's Chapman doing his thing. No save, but big win for the Yankees.
Home run by Gregorius, home run by Holiday, 3 hits and big 2-run double by Austin Romine. And the Yankees get their first win in a week as they beat the Angels by a score of 8-4, and that turns tomorrow's game into the rubber game. Now we throw it back to the studio. Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry will set the table for the rest of the night, guys.
Oh, they're flying a kite. I always like flying kites. No, they're not.
Well, how come it used to be that saying "go fly a kite" was a negative thing? I mean, it sounds like a great thing.
Yeah, go fly. Yeah, right.
Go fly a kite. Here's T.J. Rivera leading off in the second. Mets with a 1-0 lead. T.J. 1 for 9 in the series, playing third base again today. As Dribble Cabrera played his second straight rehab game today down in Florida. He's going to fly tomorrow, join the Mets in San Francisco, and will be activated Friday. Popped up on the right side. And Cody Bellinger onto the outfield grass to get it. 1 out.
There you go, folks. There's the question. Do you like the increase in home runs in recent seasons? And you can do that hashtag SNY tweet. Is that case sensitive, guys, in the truck?
I don't
Negative.
believe
All right. I have no idea.
So tweet us at SNYTV, hashtag SNY tweet.
I'm
runs?
I'm not a tweetster, so I don't know. I just wanted to clarify that.
Here's Reyes. Jose 2 for 7 in this series. Had a couple of home runs against Kershaw Monday night. And takes the curveball high from Rich Hill. So when Cabrera gets back on Friday night, the plan is for him to go back to shortstop. There had been the idea bounced around that maybe Reyes might be asked to stay at short and Cabrera might be moved to third. That's pulled foul. What could happen down the road, and it's maybe more likely, is that if Walker's going to be out for the long term, that maybe Cabrera might get some reps at second, where he's played a lot in his career, whereas he's never really played third.
Well, Walker is going to be down if he tore that hamstring, which they said that he did. And I don't care what grade it is, a tear is a tear.
So I guess the question is, what becomes the Mets' best infield configuration? Because, you know, obviously the pitching has been a huge concern, but the infield defense is 1A in concerns and certainly ties into the failures of the pitching. Outside ball 3. So how do the Mets get the best infield defense from the personnel that they have?
Well, you got two guys that can play first, Garrett, and that's, you know, they're going to get the lion's share of the playing time. It's Duda and Flores. And in a platoon.
Curveball hit out to left, and Taylor steadies. 2 out.
Should I expound? They got flexibility in the middle infield, like you said, with Cabrera going to second. Reyes can play short. You know, Flores has been a slump. You can't just shut the door on Flores because he's gone into a little bit of a slump.
But
which, you know, you put him at third.
Right. I mean, you have Rivera, you have Flores. Flores can play some first. He can certainly play second or third. I mean, Cicchini's probably going back to the minors when Cabrera gets activated. But somehow this team has to figure out a better way to support their pitchers with some better infield defense, however that best configures. Cicchini making his third straight start, hit his home run against Kershaw on Monday night, and another base hit last night.
Cicchini looks like he has that Hereniak, Charlie Lau follow through. That school of hitting, which I'm not in favor of, never have cared for.
And he goes down swinging on a high fastball. And Hill has his third strikeout of the night, and after giving up a couple of extra base hits to start the night, he's retired 6 in a row. 1-0 New York. 2-0 New York, and the Dodgers rookie sensation Cody Bellinger will lead off against Tyler Pill.
Big shift on the infield. Reyes the sole survivor on the left side.
Bellinger 22 home runs to lead the National League. He's hit 10 home runs in his last 10 games, the first rookie in Major League history to do that. And Pill keeps it inside on him, 2-0. Well, in this series, Seager and Bellinger between them have dropped the wrecking ball on the Mets.
Well, there's been 14 home runs hit in this series. So thus far.
9 by the Dodgers, 5 by the Mets. Pill behind 2-0, and Bellinger takes a big cut at a changeup.
And I don't think I've ever experienced that in my 17 years in the big leagues. And I haven't got that kind of recall, but that's something you wouldn't forget.
I mean, every once in a while you get a series like this. I mean, I remember the Mets first year of interleague play, they went to Detroit and played a 3-game series at Tiger Stadium and gave up 14 home runs in 3 games. Curveball in for a strike, and it's 2-2. But right, I mean, those are the things that stand out in your mind because they're aberrations. But now, I mean, the Dodgers have hit 4 home runs in each of their last 3 home games. Think about that. Not only is this traditionally a ballpark that does not yield a lot of home runs, but that's something that has only happened 6 other times in Major League history, that a team has hit 4 home runs in 3 straight home games anywhere. 2-2 coming, and Bellinger hits it hard, and Flores able to glove it, and that's the first out of the inning. So Pill keeping it on the ground early in this game, gets the ground ball from Bellinger.
Nice up hop for Wilmer. Wilmer's acquitted himself pretty well over there at first base. Remember, he hasn't had a whole lot of experience over there.
So Pill has set down the first 4. Now Logan Forsythe playing third base tonight with Justin Turner getting the night off. Forsythe 2 for 5 in this series. And takes the slider off the plate for ball 1. Grounded foul, 1-1. Time for the mini countryman player profile. Tyler Pill started out incredibly well in Binghamton and then promoted to Vegas. Didn't allow an earned run for 30+ innings to start the season. Now making his 3rd big league start. And he throws the fastball by Forsythe, 1-2. Tyler grew up just east of here, San Dimas, California, Covina High School, and then stayed in Southern California to go to Cal State Fullerton for his college career. 4th round pick by the Mets in 2011.
All those good baseball programs in the colleges surrounding the Los Angeles area. Pepperdine, Fullerton, SC, of course.
Long Beach State.
UCLA. I mean, they just have, there's so much population here in Los Angeles. Their high school football is off the charts.
And of course you can play baseball all year round, which is such a huge advantage. 2-2. Popped it up. Flores retreating. Should have a play. And now Cicchini calls him off and makes the grab. 2 out.
Good. I like to see that. Youngster taking charge. This is not a game for the timid.
So Pill has set down the first 5, and now here's Yasmani Grandal. Grandal catching all 3 games of this series so far. 4 for 10 with a home run the first 2 nights.
Opposite field home run last night, right down the left field line.
And Grandal takes a cut. 0-1.
Nice changeup. There's the other side of the rubber. It belongs to Mr. Pill.
You got Rich Hill's indentation right in front of the third base side of the rubber. And Pill on the extreme opposite corner.
There's that toe guard, protective toe guard, so you don't go through 9 million shoes in a season.
Grandal yanks one foul, and it's 1-2. Nice hop for the ball boy.
Well, Grandal's got that shirt unbuttoned almost halfway down his chest. Not so sure I like that.
1-2 coming. And that's grounded foul. Well, they used to say unbutton your shirt and take a real swing.
Well, look, he has a T-shirt on. He looked like Vinny from Brooklyn.
Well, but it says L.A. on the T-shirt, so it fits right in. L.A. Dodgers.
I know.
It fits right into the whole logo thing. Maybe it's all planned that way. And Grandal chases one out of the strike zone. And Pill has gone perfectly through the first 2 innings. His second strikeout. 1-0 Mets after 2. Mets 2 Octobers ago when they won their first postseason series in 9 years, knocking off the Dodgers in Game 5 of the National League Division Series. And the celebration was on in the visitors clubhouse here at Dodger Stadium. Michael Kadire right in the middle of it. Tyler Pill leads off in the 3rd inning, looking for his first big league hit. He's been a terror with the bat in the minor leagues. Lifetime .361 hitter.
Takes a good cut, Gary.
0 for 3 at the big league level. And he flies one out to left, and Taylor is there for it. 1 out. So that's 7 in a row retired by Rich Hill. 1 out and nobody on. Now Curtis Granderson, who opens with a leadoff home run. His 19th leadoff home run as a Met, which reties him with Jose Reyes for the all-time Met record. It was the 43rd leadoff home run of Granderson's career. Curtis had a big year leading off with home runs last year. I think he had 7, which was a club record. And he takes the curveball off the plate for ball 1. Granderson, one of the few Mets who had ever faced Rich Hill before tonight. Last time the Mets faced Hill, he was wearing an Indians uniform in 2013. And he has had much water travel under the bridge since then. Went to Washington, got released by them without throwing a pitch for the Nationals, Long Island Ducks. Then he resurfaced with the Red Sox late in 2015 and made 6 good starts for them, which really re-energized his career. Fly ball into shallow right center. Long run for Peterson, and he can't get there. Has to play it on a hop. Granderson dives back into first base safely with his second hit of the night. Peterson seemed to get a slow start on that ball and could not quite get there.
A lot of airtime. You're right, Gary. Oh, he didn't got a very late break.
So Granderson getting a start tonight with Conforto getting the night off. Plugged into the leadoff spot, and he has a home run and a single in his first 2 at bats. Now Wilmer Flores, who jumped on the first pitch he saw from Hill and rifled a double to the left field corner in the first inning. Wilmer's bat had cooled down significantly, and Terry Collins sat him down last night. Wilmer started the night in a 3 for 31 skid, so that first pitch double had to feel awfully good. He was so hot for so long. Trying to get his bat re-energized. And usually facing lefties is just the formula for Wilmer. And the curveball pulled foul. It's a nice grab by the ball girl. The Mets welcome back Dead & Company to Citi Field Saturday, June 24th. Grateful Dead members Mickey Hart, Bill Kreutzmann, and Bob Weir, along with John Mayer, take the stage again as Dead & Company. For tickets, visit Mets.com/Dead & Company. Hill ahead on Flores 1-2, and he'll check in on Granderson. Curtis has 3 stolen bases this year. You a big Grateful Dead guy?
I
mean,
I like a lot of their stuff, and I don't like a lot more of their stuff. So it's just.
So you never gave them the hometown discount?
My daughters love them.
Really?
Yes, they are. I guess Deadheads. They've been to several concerts around the West in the mid. They follow them. They love them. So
you were more of a Zappa guy, I know.
Well, I got Zappa late. Zappa's totally different.
Right.
Jazz and goofy. Actually, he was a genius. Great guitar player. He was a great sessions guitar player, Frank. But Apostrophe was when they were the Mothers of Invention was just a fantastic album.
It sells up and away 2-2. And he had just enough crazy for you.
Oh, he was hysterical, some of his stuff. But it was genius.
Cespedes on deck. Two and two to Flores with Granderson at first, and it's up and away, and a full count to Wilmer. Rich Hill, born and raised in Boston, Milton High School, then on to the University of Michigan. Drafted by the Angels originally back in 2001. That's popped up on the infield. Who's going to take it? Utley takes charge of it. And it drops. And they'll get the force at second base. Well, that's a matter of Utley using his baseball smarts to trade base runners. He'd rather have Flores at first than Granderson.
Exactly. That is Chase has always been a very heady player. Granderson didn't know he was out or safe. He was a little uncertain about leaving. That's like a ground ball. So we get the slow man on first. It's a very good play by Chase as they play Cespedes. A big pull here. to the left side of the infield.
So that puts Flores at first with 2 out. Cespedes struck out his first time up. There are some viewers who might wonder why don't they call infield fly in that situation. Infield fly is only for first and second or bases loaded.
Because you can turn a double play.
Right. You can get 2 runners out on forced plays, or you could if there was no infield fly rule. Here it all comes out in the wash. It's a good sinker by Hill on its 0-2.
Cespedes hit .341 against lefties last year. Only had 29 ABs in this season due to the injury, obviously, to left-handers.
Hitting .286 against lefties this year with 3 home runs. Hill ahead 0-2, and he fouls one back.
Well, he always takes a healthy cut.
Rich Hill just trying to get deep into a game, something he has not done all year. He's made 8 starts. He's had blister problems, which have appeared on and off the last couple of years.
I don't think the Dodgers, their philosophy, they're not looking for more than 6 innings out of him, Gary.
Well, he's not gone more than 5 yet. And that goes off the mid of Grandal, and that'll get Flores down to second. High pitch, but looked like a catchable ball for Grandal. And they'll score a wild pitch. So a runner in scoring position with 2 out. One-two coming in tight. 2-2 to Cespedes.
Boy, he's got that big old shin guard on his left leg. Jimenez. Never seen one that big. It's like
it's almost like a catcher's shin guard.
Yeah,
without the knee pad. Curveball drilled to deep left, right down the line. Foul. And Cespedes got a hold of that one, just a little bit too much hook on that swing on the curveball. So Grandal wrapped one around that pole last night.
Well, he faded it around the pole.
Yes.
Lee Trevino fade.
With that low fence in the corner. Always have that here at Dodger Stadium. And he gets him with a high fastball. So Hill picks up his 4th strikeout, 2nd time he's gotten Cespedes. So he survives the long foul ball and keeps the Mets off the board in the 3rd. Still 1-0. Has retired the first 6 as he takes on Jock Peterson, leading off in the bottom of the 3rd. Peterson 2 for 6 in this series, has now hit in 7 straight games, trying to lift his numbers after a very slow start to the season, battling back from a concussion. Yasiel Puig on deck, then the pitcher spot, and Peterson takes it wide, 2-0. Bill worked through all sorts of trouble in his first big league start against Milwaukee, but found his way through and pitched very well. Not so fortunate in his second start against the Pirates. Peterson with the left side open bluffs the bunt and takes a strike. But here he's been able to keep the bases empty so far over the first couple of innings, giving himself a chance to settle in, something Mets starters were unable to do the last 2 nights, Wheeler and Gazelman. And the off-speed pitch for a strike, and it's 2-2. Two coming to Peterson, and it's up and away, full count. Peterson 25 home runs last year, just 4 so far this year. Got tremendous power, but has always struck out and walked a ton. And here he is with a 3-2 count, leading off in the 3rd. And he takes it low, ball 4. So Peterson on with the leadoff walk, first base runner against Pill. Well, in 1977, the Dodgers became the first team ever with 4 men to hit 30 home runs. Dusty Baker, Steve Garvey, Reggie Smith, and on the lower right, a man affectionately known as the Penguin, Ron Cey, who is standing by with Steve Gill. Steve?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Gary. Here with Ron Cey, the great third baseman, played over a decade here for the Dodgers, also played a few years with the Cubs, the A's right at the end of your career as well. We'll get to the Dodgers in a second here, but 1984, Ron, you were with the Cubs, an incredible back and forth battle between the Cubs and the Mets for that division race. What do you remember about that season?
Having some audio difficulty with Steve's microphone. We'll get back to him and Ron in just a moment. Yasiel Puig bounces one slowly. Rivera charging. His only play to first. Low throw skips by Flores. On to third goes Peterson. Puig will wind up at second. Well, T.J. Rivera has had all sorts of throwing problems on the infield, and there was another one. Threw it low. Flores couldn't dig it out, and the Dodgers have 2 in scoring position.
Comes in, charges hard, and just chokes the ball, and that's a tough scoop right there for Wilmer. Long hop, and the Mets have opened the door for the Dodgers here, and the way they're going right now, they can't afford to be making these kind of gift mistakes.
Infield defense can rear its ugly head for the Mets. Pitcher Hill will bat 0 for 10 this year, lifetime 103 hitter. Let's play the infield back. Peterson at third, Puig at second, and Hill takes a rip and fouls back the fastball. Try to relocate Steve and Ron Cey, get a better signal on his wireless mic. Meanwhile, Pill with a pickle to deal with. A walk and an error, putting 2 aboard. And Hill takes it low, ball and a strike. Just talked about how he was keeping the bases clear early in this game after having to negotiate so much trouble in his first 2 starts, and now trouble has reared its ugly head. And he misses. Oh, he gets a strike with the curveball. Hill didn't think so, but Lance Barksdale called it a strike, 1-2. Sure, Hill will request that Lance call that a strike for him too,
and continue to call it both pitchers.
Yeah. Hill could use a strikeout, and he misses with the curve that time. 2-2. Chase Utley waits on deck. Terry Collins said of Tyler Pill is he can't ever throw the same pitch the same speed twice in a row. He has to be completely unpredictable in order to be successful. And Hill lifts one out to center. That'll get a run home. Tagging at third, Peterson. Granderson makes the catch. Puig will hold at second. Sacrifice fly for Rich Hill, his 7th career run batted in. And without a base hit, the Dodgers have tied the game at 1. First RBI of the season for Hill.
Well, this Dodger crowd is into it.
Well, their team is rolling. They've won 11 of their last 12. They're 20 games over 500. Big crowds every night here at Chavez Ravine. Now here's Utley. Always know when Chase is in the building. Cashmere.
Yes. Dodgers, of course, were the first team to draw $3 million. They do it all the time.
Puig at second with 1 out, and Utley takes the curveball low and in for ball 1. Well, that's what the Dodgers have done during this stretch where they've won 11 of 12, 7 runs per game, 30 home runs in the 12 games. So Dave Roberts' team is rolling right now. As the Mets have been on the wrong end of double-digit scoring with regularity twice already in this series and 6 times already this month. The Mets have given up 10 or more runs in a game, which is just startling when you think about the way this team was supposed to be built. And Sandy Alderson addressed that tonight talking to the media. He said it's as stunning to him as it is to everybody else how poorly the Mets have pitched. Now, obviously some of it has to do with injury, but you look at the individual numbers for guys, particularly the walks and home run totals, and it's startling what has happened to this pitching staff. Started the night with an ERA as a staff over 5 for the season. It's the latest in a season the Mets have had their ERA over 5 since 1962.
Uh-oh, we don't want to go there.
62.
You had to do that.
Last foul by Utley, 2-1, and it would be startling enough if it hadn't been for what the expectations were for this pitching staff. And now Zach Wheeler joins Matt Harvey and Noah Syndergaard on the disabled list. They think he's only going to miss 1 start, biceps tendonitis, but you never know for sure. Steven Matz goes tomorrow night. Jacob deGrom, with back-to-back outstanding starts, will pitch Saturday in San Francisco. 2-1 to Utley, and Chase pops one up. Granderson coming in to get it, and that's the second out. So Pill got it in on Utley and gets the pop up. 2 out. Puig still at second, and now he swung at the first pitch he saw from Pill in the first inning and hit a comebacker. Seager's 3 home run game last night was the second 3 home run game of his career. Only 1 player has ever been younger and had 2 3 home run games. And the Mets going to intentionally walk him and pitch to Chris Taylor instead. The only player younger at the time of his second 3 home run game in Major League history was Boog Powell. The original Boog Powell, not the kid who's playing in Seattle. 22 years old. Big Boog was when he had his second 3 home run game for the Orioles. 1964. And that was a big guy.
What was the series that he played in that he had the bad wrist? Remember, he had a tough time swinging. Was it 69? I forget.
Don't remember.
He was hurt, and it was apparent his wrist was really bothering him.
I mean, he was in the series in 66 and 69 and 70. 2 out and 2 on for Taylor, who took a call third strike his first time up. Puig at second, Seager at first, and Taylor takes a fastball for a strike.
Of course, the The one that comes to mind to me that had a terrific World Series was Rusty in '73 when he had the shoulder when he crashed into that wall, and he had that home run. What, 2 home runs?
In that great series against the A's after hurting his shoulder in the league championship series against the Reds.
Hit the opposite field home run off of Ken Holtzman. I remember that.
He had over 400 in that series.
Yes.
With one arm. I mean, he couldn't even throw.
Couldn't throw. I mean, to throw underhand.
Right.
And that wound up beating them. Do you recall when Reggie Jackson got the double up the gap off Seaver? That was the deciding run of that game late, and he had to flip it into the to Felix Millan.
Taylor lays off the slider, and it's 2-1. A walk, an error, and a sacrifice fly producing a run for the Dodgers. Third. Hill has yet to allow a hit. Hill about to throw his 20th pitch of the inning. And another slider, that one for a strike.
Good one.
It's 2-2.
Good location right there.
See everybody waving in front of their faces, though there are a lot of gnats or something
probably
bothering them.
Yep.
See Puig. Summertime. 2 out, 2 on, 2-2 to Chris Taylor. Grounded slowly. Rivera gets the force. Side retired. Unearned run for the Dodgers in the third. Hill still hasn't allowed a hit. We promised you the Penguin. We're going to give you the Penguin. Ron Say with Steve when we come back.
Yep. Not Burgess Meredith.
We've got a hard wire just so we make sure that the mic doesn't drop out this time. But Ron, I was asking you about that 1984 season in that last half inning.
Yeah.
You were on the Cubs then. Yeah. Incredible battle with the Mets. What do you remember about that season?
Well, you know, the reporters in Chicago hadn't experienced any of this. And they were in my locker every morning saying, you know, are we really going to do this? And it's like the first week in September. So I'm saying, look, guys, I've been through this a number of different times. We're playing well. We're healthy. We've got about a 6-game lead on the Mets, who had a great club. And it feels good. So it was just a matter of weathering that storm. to get these people to believe that we're on our way to a divisional title.
Keith Hernandez, this wasn't just that season, but he wanted me to ask you, and I want to do this before it gets too late, why anytime they played against you guys, you wouldn't talk to him when he was on the bases?
I didn't have any choice. He was always talking. We called him Motor Mouth, you know. I don't know where he got that from, but it's like every time he'd get over at third base, he'd be talking from the moment he got over there. So sorry, Keith, but I really didn't have much choice.
Well, maybe you had some better luck with your infield mates, because that infield in general, it's one of the most amazing runs an infield has ever had, with you, Garvey, Lopes, Bill Russell, played together for 8.5 seasons. What type of a bond did that group develop, and where are you guys at right now? Do you still talk on a regular basis?
Yeah, we're close, with the sense that our organization has always had an alumni, and we've had fantasy camps, so we've had other gatherings, so we've had an opportunity to stay in touch. But it was an incredible run. 8.5 years, a major league record for longevity. Technically, it is the most successful infield in Major League history. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it was the greatest infield of all time, because I don't believe that myself. But we had a special bond. We all grew up within the organization, which is a rarity today. But we had a great time. We had a great run. 4 World Series, World Championship. Every member of that infield was a multiple All-Star. We won more games than anybody else in Major League history as a unit. So a lot to be said for that. We're all grateful for that, and we're glad that it was with the Dodgers.
You mentioned a lot of accolades right there, a lot of great games. Do you have a favorite one when you look back on your career?
Well, obviously winning the final game of the '81 World Series capped off a career for the infield as well. It was the last game that we were going to play together before guys moved on. But the most historical game I ever played in was in April of 1974 in Atlanta. We played in the game that Henry Aaron broke Babe Ruth's all-time home run record.
You mentioned before growing up, as Jay Bruce takes a walk here, but you mentioned growing up in the Dodgers organization as a group, and it's one thing to come up together, but the guys that you got to play for, Tommy Lasorda, Walter Alston, two incredibly just different guys, right? I mean, Walter Alston, quiet, and Lasorda, anything but that. What was it like playing for two great managers like that were so polar opposite?
We were really lucky. Both of them ended up being Hall of Fame managers. Both had a different way of getting things done. And as you mentioned, Walt was very quiet. When he had something he wanted to deal with you, he took you behind closed doors, talked it out, never embarrassed you in the paper. Tommy wore everything on his sleeve, was a big hug giver, completely different, but we grew up with Tommy in the organization as a minor league player. He was an instructor and a manager, and when we moved forward, he moved forward.
Ron, when you look at the game today, you were such a hard-nosed player back in the day. What are your thoughts on where baseball is right now? It's obviously such a different game than when you were playing in the 70s and 80s.
I don't know if I can shorten it. There's too much time to talk about it, but I think the game has flipped totally. 360. It's a completely different game than the one that I grew up watching, the one that I played. The kids have been taught a different way how to play this game, and starting with pitching. You look at the rotation. They're only going 6. You go to the middle relief for the final 2, and then the last inning goes to the closer. Sabermetrics, defensive shifts, altering lineups day to day, where I think continuity gets lost. We believed in a set lineup, and as I was telling you earlier, I don't know if you want to be the manager and tell Dusty Baker or Reggie Smith they're not playing tonight.
One more, because the Mets here are threatening with 2 on and nobody out. But we were also talking before about how not just the games have changed, but the stadiums have changed. So many new stadiums and the fences being brought in. What is it like to be an alumni of this organization, though, and still come back to this stadium that hasn't changed in so long and watch games here and be a part of it?
Well, I think overall this is home for me. It speaks for itself. But I'd be a poor businessman to say that I wouldn't want to be able to play today. And also, with the way things are geared towards the offense today, it's a hitter's haven today. As I was mentioning earlier, I think we're on pace again. Last year we had 112 guys hit over 20 home runs. That's unbelievable to me, and that's 3.5 guys per team. So away with little ball and hello big ball.
Well, Ron, as T.J. Rivera pops, that ball is dropped.
Infield fly roll was not called, and everybody's safe. Utley went out. Puig came in. Puig was having trouble finding it, so Utley had to go after the ball. And that'll be an error charge to Utley that loads up the bases. Ball was not a routine play, so none of the umpires signaled infield fly.
I think Utley got on his heels here a little bit, and there's your one hand. And when you do the one hand, he's calling for it, and he gets on his heels here, and I think the ball started bouncing. And there's just no excuse for two hands on pop-ups.
So a walk, a single, and an error load the bases for New York. And Jose Reyes, the batter, with the bases loaded and nobody out. It was fascinating to listen to Ron say, and thanks to Steve and thanks to Ron for a terrific few minutes there. I thought it was fascinating that Ron noted one of his biggest moments was Henry Aaron hitting the home run against the Dodgers, against Al Downing that day in 1974.
And why wouldn't it be? It's such a historic at bat. I mean, no one ever thought that Babe Ruth's record, all-time record, would be broken. To be a part of that game, to be an actual participant and visually see the home run, my goodness. Let alone in Say's case, he's parked over there at third base.
1-1 to Reyes, who flied out his first time up. So Bruce is at third. He walked. Darno at second. He singled. Rivera at first after Utley dropped his pop-up. And the Mets trying to cash in a 1-1 game in the fourth. And Reyes fouls off the curveball, and Hill gets ahead 1-2. You got Reyes, the number 7 hitter, up. The number 8 hitter Cicchini on deck. Mets have had 4 hits against Hill, but just the 1 run on the leadoff home run by Granderson in the first. Left a runner in scoring position in the first and then again in the third. Mets with the bases loaded this year as a team are hitting .321, 2 grand slams. And that's up and away, 2-2. And Reyes goes down swinging on the high fastball, and that's the first out of the inning. 5 strikeouts for Rich Hill, who, despite not throwing very hard, always seems to rack up a ton of strikeouts.
And just got to make him throw strikes. He's out of the strike zone. Jose knows he chased a high one there.
Last year, Hill 10.5 strikeouts per 9 innings. This year, down a little, 9 strikeouts per 9 innings. But that's remarkable for a guy who doesn't throw 90 miles an hour. So now Cicchini, who struck out his first time up, bases loaded, 1 out with the pitcher on deck. And a first pitch curveball bends in for a strike. Now Hill throws his curveball more often than just about any pitcher in baseball, nearly 50% of the time. And when he gets in trouble, probably more than that. And the fastball fouled off, and it's 0-2. Tyler Pill waiting on deck. Last year, Cicchini hit .325 at Vegas. His number's way down this year. 2 for 8 so far in the majors. 0-2 coming. And he checks his swing. Stopped it in time. Angel Hernandez with the call, 1-2.
I'm just amazed how the home plate umpires today, whenever they're asked for help, they ask for help. He was a lot more authoritarian umpiring when I was playing.
On the outside corner, Hill gets him looking. Back-to-back strikeouts for Hill, and now there are 2 down, and the bases remain loaded for Tyler Pill.
It's his inside corner. Oh, right down the middle. Must have been looking for a wrinkle. That is right down the pipe. Not an easy out here in Tyler Pill. Another Met pitcher, that right-hander, hitting from the left side of the plate.
Now looking for his first big league hit, and this would be a great spot for it. Bases loaded, 2 out. First pitch curveball outside. Hill this year at Las Vegas, 5 for 14 for his career in the minors, 30 for 83. That's a .361 average with 1 home run. Fouls it away. Of course, his brother was a big league hitter. Brett Pill played 4 years for the Giants, first baseman, who just recently retired after playing 3 years in Korea. One from Hill to Pill, and the curveball in for a strike. And now Hill 1 pitch away from getting out of this massive jam. One, 2. Hill just got a piece of the curveball to stay alive. Tyler Pill, 27 years old, getting his first big league chance in 2017. Now trying to get himself a lead against 37-year-old Rich Hill. And he struck him out with a curveball, side retired. Mets loaded the bases with nobody out, but Rich Hill strikes out 3 in a row to get himself out of trouble. We go to the bottom of the 4th in LA, tied at 1. Coast, the sunset over the ocean.
That is the one thing I miss the most.
Now, if you wake up early enough, you can get the sunrise over the ocean.
I am not into getting up at crack of dawn to watch the sun come up.
But this is spectacular.
This is like
setting over the Pacific.
Endless summer.
Founded in 1781 with 44 folks in L.A. They didn't even have freeways in those days. People now outnumbered by cars, and although LA and San Francisco sometimes seem like two different states, they're getting closer every year.
That's not a good proposition.
Tyler Pill behind on Cody Bellinger 2-0 as he salesman up and in. Bellinger grounded out his first time up. Well, we'll be moving to the ever closer city by the bay after this series is over.
A beautiful ballpark there as well.
Does that mean the flight takes less time now that they're getting closer? Bellinger gets ahead of one and pulls one into the upper deck. Well, lots of stuff has happened here in addition to the routine events here in Los Angeles. The first ever Super Bowl, which was not called the Super Bowl at the time. It was the AFL NFL championship game. A couple of Olympics, Women's World Cup. They just include a boxing match at the bottom of that. Was that a particularly spectacular sporting event? Oscar De La Hoya and Sugar Shane Mosley?
I don't know where that came from.
I don't know. How did that get in there with all the rest of that stuff? Must have a boxing fan.
Over the Giants winning the Super Bowl here?
Big cut by Bellinger. Boy, he doesn't get cheated, does he?
No, he does not. He takes a rip. Just very. I'm going to follow this guy to see if they catch on to him like they did Jock Peterson. Holds his hands very high.
3-2 from Pill. And the breaking ball hits sharply through the shift and into right field. Bruce cuts it off. Bellinger's going to try for two. The throw goes over Reyes. There's nobody backing up. Bellinger will go to third. The ball stays in play, and Bellinger stops at third base. So Bellinger aggressively going to second. Bruce's throw sails over Reyes, and there was nobody backing up.
Well, number one, you got the shift on, and there you go. So no one can get to third. The only Bellinger with a lot of hustle there on that double. And there's one of the bad things about the shift. Because Rivera's parked over on the other side of the infield. He can't get back to third base. No one on base. It has to be the catcher or the left fielder.
Well, what's the pitcher's responsibility? That's it out to the gap in left center off the bat of Forsythe, and that'll bring him the go-ahead run. Bellinger in to score. Forsythe to second. He'll stop there with an RBI double, and the Dodgers lead 2-1. So back-to-back doubles for Bellinger and Forsythe. The first two hits of the game against Tyler Pill produced the go-ahead run.
Oh, a hanging breaking ball to Bellinger. And another hanger right here to Forsythe. The gap up. Gary, you know the comment you just made. I just think with all the and there's no one on base. I got to cut it.
Grandal drives one to deep left. Cespedes back to make the grab. Forsythe will stay at second. And that's the first out of the inning, but three hard hit balls to start this fourth inning against Pill.
Well, good hustle by here. And it certainly didn't catch Jay Bruce by surprise. He came up firing, and he overshot Reyes. And look at the three outfielders on the right side. I cannot blame anybody here.
So Pill is heading toward a spot where he can be a backup. He just didn't get there.
And you got Darno on the right of your screen. He's got nothing to do. But I'm telling you, it's just these are all new innovations in the game. And it's not instinctual.
I guess my question would be, if you're going to play these shifts,
then you better have a playbook.
How much do you practice plays like that in spring training?
Agreed.
Here's Jock Peterson, and I would think that the way drills are run in the spring has got to change based on the way the game has changed, right?
Yep, I agree. See, Pill's first initial move, because the balls hit the right field, was to go to first.
Which was the right thing.
Now, there's no one on base. Darno, to me, is the one that can go over there. And then whenever that happened, and that happens sometimes where a catcher would go to third, and then it's incumbent on the first baseman to come down the line and become the catcher at home plate. But this is all new stuff, and there's some things that have been forgotten along the way.
I mean, right, because in a normal configuration, the expectation is that the third baseman is going to be in position to back up that play.
And you've also got a left fielder that can come down in there too. But I just think everybody's just it's all new, and it just hasn't been thought out to all the possibilities. And we just saw one right now, and it hurt the Mets.
They scored that a double for Bellinger, an error on Bruce on the errant throw, and now they're going to give Peterson the intentional walk after a 2-0 count. So this will be the second intentional walk the Mets have granted. By the way, with this new rule, just by coincidence, the Mets have yielded more intentional walks than any other team. Just the way their season has gone. So we've seen more batters waved to first base than anybody has. So now 2 aboard with 1 out. Yasiel Puig the batter. Puig got a slow roller to third, and T.J. Rivera made a bad throw, led to a 2-base error that helped the Dodgers to their first run in the 3rd inning. At the 1 out. And Puig takes the fastball inside. And now 2-0.
See where Arizona has bounced back tonight against Colorado, 14-4, shellacking. That's in the 8th. So the Dodger win tonight will put the Dodgers in first place.
Bill and Darno having trouble getting on the same page here. Now, the 3 best records in the National League all reside in the National League West. Rockies had won 6 in a row coming into tonight. Diamondbacks losing the first game of that series on a big Nolan Arenado hit in the 8th inning, but putting on an offensive show tonight. They are really having trouble figuring out what to do next. By the way, did you watch Max Scherzer's game today?
I did not watch it, but I heard what happened.
No hitter with 1 out in the 8th. A.J. Ellis hits a comebacker just a little too high, goes off the tip of Scherzer's glove, winds up being an infield hit. And they leave him in the game. The 1-0 lead. He takes a big cut at a changeup, and it's 2-1. 2 outs, a ground ball to short. The throw to first, and Adam Lynn, playing first base, comes off the bag for an error that prolongs the inning. Hit batsman, wild pitch. Giancarlo Stanton single. 2-1 Miami, and that's how it ended. Went from a no-hitter to a loss in record time. 2-1 coming. Off the plate, and now it's 3-1 to Puig.
Another late inning loss for Washington, but not the fault of the bullpen.
No. Well, but maybe it is the fault of the bullpen. Maybe if they had a better bullpen, they would have taken him out after he gave up the hit.
No, they had a closer.
He wound up throwing 120 pitches, Scherzer did today. Hill in a real tight spot here behind on Puig, 3-1. And Puig unloads deep left field. Cespedes going back near the wall. It's out of here. 3-run homer. Yasiel Puig is 13th of the year. And the Dodgers have scored 4 runs in the bottom of the 4th and now lead at 5-1. Bill fell behind 3-1. Looked like he tried to throw it as hard as he could, and Puig got all of it. First home run that Pill has allowed in the major leagues. And the 10th home run the Dodgers have hit against the Mets in this series.
Good Lord, and he smoked that one. That was legit. I mean, he got all of that. High fastball. Look at the glove move in the middle, belt high down the pipe. And this was a moonshot. It was no doubt once it left his bat.
13 home runs for Puig, who's been dropped to the lower part of the order in recent weeks.
Just a lot of upper body in that swing.
Really strong guy.
Yes, he is.
2-2 to Hill, who had a sacrifice fly to drive in the first Dodger run.
So I don't know what Darno's talking to him about. Interesting.
Hill taps one on the ground. Cicchini makes the play for the second out. Well, you saw as Puig was coming between third and home, before that he looked to his left out toward the mound, and I wonder whether that had anything to do with Darno's reaction.
But what are you going to tell him?
Don't talk to my pitcher.
Don't show us up.
I don't know, because if you roll back a little bit before where we started there, he did turn to his left as if he were either glaring at or saying something to Pill. Here's Chase Utley, and that's low and in for ball one. Utley hit a comebacker and flied out to center, then made an error in the top of this inning that put his pitcher in jeopardy, but Rich Hill was able to work his way out of it. Mets had the bases loaded, nobody out. Hill struck out 3 in a row to keep it tied, and then the Dodgers jumped on Pill for 4 runs in the bottom of the inning. 2-0 now to Utley. Hill has given up just 3 hits, but they've all come in this inning. 2 doubles and the Puig home run.
Oh, Flores is wolfing at him.
Yeah, something must have happened.
He Cadillac.
Is that what it was? Did he linger at home plate?
I think he. Well, how often do you see Wilmer get PO'd?
Yeah, Wilmer was definitely jawing at Puig, and it got Puig's attention. Well, Puig has certainly drawn a lot of negative attention from both opponents and his own teammates during his big league career.
I don't think that's excessive, or what goes on today. I don't think
that's why I wonder what it was that caught the Mets' attention.
Wilmer woofed at him.
Strike 3 called. Utley caught looking to end the inning. 3rd strikeout for Pill, but the Dodgers put up a 4 spot in the 4th inning. Yasiel Puig with a 3-run homer. And the Dodgers lead. Yasiel Puig's 3-run homer. Through a few hard feelings from the Mets along the way. Rich Hill, who has not gone more than 5 innings in any one of his starts this season, starts the 5th inning. The Spectrum high-speed pitch, a little shy of its usual totals tonight. Two guys who do not throw particularly hard. Tyler Pill gave up 3 hard-hit balls in that 4th inning. Now sees if his team can get back against Rich Hill. 3rd time through the batting order. Curtis Granderson getting a spot start tonight. It's had a good night. Lead-off home run and a pop fly single, 2 for 2. Mets have had plenty of chances against Hill beyond Granderson's lead-off home run in the 1st. They've had runners in scoring position in 3 of the 4 innings, but have been unable to cash in. Mets are 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position through the first 4 innings tonight. And Granderson takes a fastball for a strike, and it's 1-2. Curtis getting the start tonight with Michael Conforto getting a night off, and Curtis, ever the good soldier, has accepted his new role on this team as Hill comes sidearm and misses. 2-2. Told Terry Collins he understood completely, and that whatever Terry needs, he'll be there, and he's been there tonight. Curveball pulled into the shift, and that's the first out. Play made by the 3rd baseman Forsythe. SNY play ball, and the New York Jets are looking to help local football leagues in need with grants, equipment donations, clinics, and special Jets experiences. Does your league need assistance? Apply today at sny.tv/playball. So that was a 5-3 put out on your scorecard.
Oh, darn it. I got to white out. Thanks, Gary.
See, it's not just the players who have to adjust. Wilmer's 1 for 2 tonight. He doubled in the 1st inning and then hit into a pop fly fielder's choice in the 3rd. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Delta. Mets fans win amazing prizes from Delta Airlines. Visit sny.tv/Delta Dugout for details. Away and boxed by Grandal. 2-1. Hill at 81 pitches. He threw 105 in 4 innings in his last start against Cleveland. Not a good one for him. He threw that fastball by Flores, 2-2. He's throwing mostly in the 85, 86 range, and every once in a while he'll dial it up to 89 or 90.
There's got to be a little deception in his motion for him to get away with this, and he's a left-hander.
And he's got the good curveball, but he uses the fastball out of the strike zone to strike out Flores, and that's his 8th strikeout of the night. A season high for Rich Hill. Verizon trivia question: Sandy Koufax struck out 382 batters in 1965 and finished second in the National League MVP voting. Who won?
65, the Dodgers won the World Series.
They beat the Twins. Zoilo Versailles was the American League MVP.
I'll say Tommy Davis. Did he win the batting crown 65?
I think he might have, but I don't know if he was the MVP.
I think he was.
Yeah.
Could be wrong.
Tommy Davis, who later played for the Mets, 1 year, hit 300.
Another terrific right-hand hitter, line drive hitter. My father loved him. When the broadcasts were on, the Giants played the Dodgers down here, and we got to watch the games. He made us sit there and watch, make sure we didn't go fidget around. We had to watch Tommy Davis swing.
No fidgeting.
No fidgeting.
I mean, were you a naturally fidgety kid?
I was always ants in my pants, yes, as my mom would say. I probably had ADD, but not. We had so many things to do, ride bikes. We were outside expending all that energy here, you know.
So that when you came indoors, you were calmer.
End of the day, exhausted.
Cespedes been up twice and struck out both times. And he'll get ahead of him again, 1-2. Well, Cespedes has gone down twice on high fastballs, and Hill has gotten ahead of him the same way. Can't get him to chase there, and it's 2-2.
Well, he struck him out twice on fastballs letter high outside, outer half of the plate. So he's trying to stay up there. Whoa.
That one got away, 3-2. Well, you heard Steve talking to Clayton Kershaw before the game tonight about whether pitchers need to adjust to the new style of hitting where it seems like everybody's a low ball hitter, and Clayton said, I can only do what I can do.
Right.
But if you're a pitcher like Hill who's willing to pitch up in the strike zone, maybe a good formula these days. And the curveball misses outside for ball 4. And there's the second walk given up by Hill. And the Mets have a 2-out base runner with Jay Bruce coming up. Final game of this series tomorrow night. Steven Matz will make the start for the Mets. Hyun-Jin Ryu will be on the mound for the Dodgers. Coverage begins at 9 o'clock tomorrow night right here on SNY. Jay Bruce has flied deep to center and drawn a walk tonight, 0 for 1. And again, they put the third baseman over on the right side of the infield in the middle of the shift. It's Forsythe playing in shallow right in the middle of the triangle. While the Mets have staggered, Bruce has been a shining light, hitting .338 with 7 home runs in the month of June. And trying to keep this ship afloat. Jay said last night after the game that players realize that time is running short very quickly for this team. And Terry Collins was asked about those comments before the game tonight. Terry said, yeah, we need a winning streak, and we need it soon. Because everybody understands that if you get to a month from now and this team's in the same shape, the Mets have a lot of potential free agents who might be moved. And Bruce is one of them. It was a call strike, 3-1. But put together 10 wins in a row at some point, and the whole conversation changes. Three and one to Jay, and the curveball outside, and back-to-back walks issued by Hill give the Mets a pair of base runners, with Travis d'Arnaud coming up. No action as yet in the Dodger bullpen, but Rick Honeycutt, the pitching coach, is going to go out and talk to Hill. So Hill up to 94 pitches on the night. We mentioned several times that he hasn't gone beyond 5 innings this year, and that actually ties a major league record. 8 straight starts to begin a season going 5 innings or less.
Well, it's going to happen a lot. It's the way the game's progressing and the direction it's going. Who knows?
Going 5 or less puts an enormous amount of pressure on your bullpen, but the Dodger bullpen's been great, so they've been able to pick up the slack.
Moniker that you did not want. You were a 5 and fly pitcher. You did not want it back in our day. It's like, stick around, win your own game.
Cespedes at second, Bruce at first, and d'Arnaud the batter. Travis 1 for 2 tonight. He's taken a call, third strike, and singled up the middle. Travis playing back home in his native Southern California. And he takes a fastball outside for ball 1, and that Dodger bullpen's going to spring to work now, with Hill struggling to get the final out in the 5th. Brandon Morrow, who was just recalled today, the veteran right-hander, will begin to throw along with the lefty Grant Dayton. It's a strike. 1-1. Hill retired the first 2 hitters, got the ground ball from Granderson and struck out Flores, but then a pair of walks giving the Mets a chance to fight back in this game. Mets led this game 1-0 on Granderson's leadoff home run, but the Mets have squandered numerous opportunities against Rich Hill, going 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position, and now d'Arnaud with a chance to get a run home, or maybe 3. And that's outside, 2-1. It seems like Hill is consistently missing to that side of the plate with his fastball.
He's missing everywhere here. It's like he's the reason why he only goes 5. He's running out of gas.
Curveball topped back to the mound, and Hill makes the play to end the inning. And the Mets now 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. We're halfway through at Dodger Stadium, 5-1 LA. Yasiel Puig's home run trot, which appeared to make the Mets unhappy, and his countryman Yoenis Cespedes, along with Jose Reyes, having a bit of a conversation with Puig between innings.
It's very interesting here.
I mean, there have been so many people in Puig's ear over the last 5 seasons since he got to the big leagues about manners of conducting himself in the clubhouse, on the field, things that he's had to learn along the way. And you know, you talk to the Dodger people and they'll tell you that he has learned a lot. Well, clearly the lessons continue.
I don't think it's ever going to be.
Corey Seager laces one into right center for a base hit. Bruce over to get it quickly, and Seager will hold it first with a leadoff single. So Seager has his 7th hit in this series. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, it's okay. I just feel that at this stage, as long as Puig has been in the big leagues, I just don't think it's ever going to be where everybody would like it to be. It's always going to be a little something with him.
Well, Justin Turner trying to help him out.
Whether he upsets his teammates or he's certainly going to upset the opposing players, but a very talented young man.
That's driven to left field. Cespedes coming on and makes the grab to retire Taylor, 1 out. I don't know. It's difficult for me to judge in this day and age where the lines are drawn about something like staring at your home run and taking your time running to first base, because sometimes it seems like nobody minds and sometimes it seems like people do mind.
But I think Puig has developed this reputation. I mean, I didn't think that was overly. It wasn't a hot dog to me that would have upset me. But obviously, I mean, you saw Flores. Flores jawed at him.
Here's Cody Bellinger. And clearly, Pill has been trying to keep the ball inside on Bellinger.
It's a lot of energy there being expended.
Well, Justin has the day off. He's got plenty of time. Bellinger doubled and scored in the 4th inning. It got the Dodgers started in their go-ahead rally. Bellinger hit a hard base hit to right. Tried to take the extra base as Jay Bruce made the throw to second. Bruce's throw sailed over Reyes for an error, and then Bellinger came home on the next pitch on a Logan Forsythe double, and the Dodgers had the lead. Now Pill behind him, 2-0. Boy,
he's just lock and load, Bellinger. He's just looking to lift. When that ball's down in the strike zone, he is looking to pull it and hit it in the air, lift it.
Just 21 years old. 4th round draft pick by the Dodgers, so he wasn't like he was the prime blue chip prospect coming out of hit school, but he has learned quickly. He had a ton of home runs the last 2 years in the minor leagues, and it has translated at the big league level over his first less than 200 at bats. 198 at bats, 22 home runs. And that's a crazy way to start your career. Veteran Sergio Romo, just back off the disabled list this week, is up in the Dodger bullpen, the former Giant. Two coming to Bellinger. And it's too high, 3-2. Seager at first and 1 out. Bellinger strikes out a lot. But Seager is running. Bellinger strikes out. Reyes covering. Safe. Seager steals the base, his 3rd of the year, as Bellinger strikes out for the 2nd out.
Decent throw right on the bag. Seager can run. It wasn't a very great jump. You saw Seager the whole way look over his shoulder. back at home plate.
Well, Travis d'Arnaud's throws on the whole have improved over the last few weeks. And that was certainly a better one. But Seager just got there first. So a runner in scoring position with 2 out. Logan Forsythe, the batter, doubled to left center to drive in the go-ahead run in the 4th. And Pill keeps the slider on the outside corner, 0-1. Forsythe 1 for 2 tonight, 3 for 7 in this series as he looks to jumpstart his season. A good year in Tampa Bay last year and hit much since coming to the Dodgers. And fouls one away, 0-2.
Well, there's d'Arnaud's throw. I always look for the wiggle. He always has a little wiggle at the top. The footwork is fine. That was a good pitch to throw too, up where he didn't have to come out of the squat.
Eric Goodell, just brought up today from Las Vegas, is up in the Mets bullpen. Mets brought up Pill and Goodell, put Zach Wheeler on the DL and sent Matt Reynolds down to AAA. So they have a 13-man pitching staff and a 4-man bench. 0-2 coming, and it's inside, and Forsythe able to get out of the way. 1-2. Hill trying to fight his way through this 5th. You've got the switch hitter Grandal on deck. Well, we've seen a lot of this, particularly where the runner at second base, Pill and d'Arnaud, just having an agonizing time trying to get on the same page. A couple of Southern California guys putting their heads together in a ballpark where they always dreamed of playing. One-two coming to Forsythe, and he struck him out to end the inning. Back-to-back strikeouts for Pill. He has 5 for the night. After 5, it's 5-1 Dodgers.
Fans get a safe, affordable
5-1. Dodgers will go to their bullpen. Rich Hill for the 9th straight start goes 5 innings or less, and the former Giant Sergio Romo just back off the disabled list in for LA.
Just coming off 2 rehab assignments. The former San Francisco Giant, the slider king. How many percent, Garrett?
66% sliders.
60. So well, he's always been a slider guy, and he was a workhorse. Bruce Bochy worked him late in games for years.
He spent 9 years on the other side of that rivalry before coming to the Dodgers this year. It's got to be so strange to be a Giant for that long and then come down the coast and pitch for their arch rivals. Let's check in with Steve.
Well, Gary, we're going to start a new series here. Last year we took a look at players' gloves and their relationship with their gloves. This year we're going to take a look at their bats. So interesting to hear how these guys pick and you know, figure out what equipment they want to use. For TJ Rivera, it's really fascinating. He uses a 31.5 inch 33.5 inch 31.5 ounce bat, I should say. And for him, the most important thing is to have a thick barrel and a thin handle. He likes having the thick barrel because he likes to have the weight at the end of the bat, so he knows where that barrel is at all times and how he can control the barrel. But to me, the really interesting thing is that he uses multiple types of wood depending on the pitcher. So he normally uses maple, but when there's a hard thrower up there, he'll switch his bat to ash, because even though they're the same weight technically, he feels that ash feels a little lighter in his hands, has a little more flex to it, and he can get it quicker through the zone.
Well, it's going to actually, oh, we got fooled there, barely hung in. The ash is going to be have more whip to it, and more pliable. So you got a hard thrower is going to provide the power. So you don't want a walnut bat that doesn't give a little bit as much. So I can understand that thinking, and I would agree with that. But he uses a very small bat and light.
Slider gets him. Romo starts his night with a strikeout. That's 9 strikeouts for Dodger pitchers tonight. Hill struck out 8 in his 5 innings.
It's quite a goatee right there. Not on Jose. He's got the beard on Mr. Romo.
Well, Romo's goatee is Mephistophelian.
Yes.
That is to say, devilish. And the slider in for a strike to Reyes. Romo spent 9 years with the Giants, a couple of them as their closer, had 38 saves for the Giants in an all-star season in 2013. Lost the closer's job the next year when the Giants won their 3rd title in 5 years. Change up there from Romo.
Took something off.
That's a different wrinkle for him.
Oh, look at that. And that is, he's got almost like a palm ball. He's got it real deep in his hands. The palm of his hands out in the fingers.
Romo's now 34 years old. Grew up in the Bay Area. So this is a whole new experience for him. 1-2 coming. And he ties up Reyes with the slider, but he laid off. 2-2. Gavin Cecchini waiting on deck. That's got their only run on the second pitch of the game. Curtis Granderson went deep against Rich Hill, who gave up a run on 4 hits in his 5 innings, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts, 98 pitches, and got out of several jams after that. And Romo strikes out Reyes with the fastball, so Romo returns from the DL with back-to-back strikeouts. 2 out.
And you're right, it is a fastball. And he throws a sinker. Reyes out in front.
So 2 up and 2 set aside. Now Cecchini, who's been up twice and struck out both times, Came up with the bases loaded and 1 out in the 4th and took a call third strike from Hill. That's when the Mets had their best chance. They had the bases loaded and nobody out and did not score. And Cicchini fooled on the slider but stopped the swing. 1-0. Michael Conforto has come out on deck. He'll pinch hit for Tyler Pill if Cicchini can keep the inning going. Ball and a strike. Well, Romo's numbers are not good this year, and he had been down with an ankle injury, but his slider looks like it's in mid-season form.
That follow through reminds me so much of Rick Gedman in that '86 World Series. That's how he followed through.
With that thing with the one hand.
Yeah, and it didn't work against Sid Fernandez. Sid just ate Rich Gedman up in that beautiful relief appearance. He came in and really saved the day. What game was that? He saved the day. It was home. Big Sid out of the pen.
Don't remember. But he pitched like 5 innings, right?
Yes.
Grounded slowly. Seager on the backhand. The running throw in the dirt. Bellinger with a nice scoop. And Cicchini retired to end the inning. Well, the 2 youngsters on that Dodger infield, Seager and Bellinger, just continue to impress in every way. Fine play on both ends. Seager on the backhand. And Bellinger pulling it out of the dirt. 1-2-3 inning keeps it 5-1 LA. Up 5-1. Tyler Pill will continue on. Yasmani Grandal leads off for the Dodgers in the 6th. Pill gave up an unearned run in the 3rd, and then 4 runs in the 4th, 3 of them on a home run from Yasiel Puig, and the Mets have lacked a response. And the first pitch curveball outside to Grandal. Pill has walked 3, 1 intentional, actually 2 intentionally, and struck out 5. Allowed 5 runs on only 4 hits. One of the runs unearned. And curveball in for a strike, 1-1. So the Braves just beat the Giants on a 2-run walk-off home run by Matt Kemp in the bottom of the 11th, 5-3, which is nice for the Braves, but that's not the big news for the Braves today. This is a stunning thing to me. We've talked a lot about Matt Adams and how well he's filled in for Freddie Freeman. Well, Freddie Freeman today, as he starts coming back from the broken wrist, started taking ground balls at third base and told the media that he is going to come back as a third baseman and intends to play there for the rest of the year, which I think is just stunning for a superstar player to make that kind of concession to his team.
I'm not surprised. Freddie is a team guy, and you're looking. He's got a long-term contract, and he doesn't want to be in a second division team. And Matt Adams has come over and has hit 10 home runs.
12 now.
12.
Yeah, one today.
So he's been fabulous, and do what you got to do. I mean, it is very wonderful that he accepted that. But I think the bottom line is you'll do anything to help your team win.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how he makes the transition. They're figuring he thinks he's coming back the weekend before the All-Star break. The Braves think he'll be back after the All-Star break. But either way, he's just a few weeks away. Grandal gets under one to deep right center. Bruce goes back at the wall. It's out of here. Yasmani Grandal with his second home run of the series, his 8th of the year. And the Dodgers with their second of the night and their 11th of this series. Make it 6-1 LA. Looked like he got under that ball, but it had enough carry, as just about every fly ball in this series has.
Well, look at his reaction here. It looks like he felt he got it. And he's taking a long look at it.
Not as long as Puig.
Agreed.
And it just got out. So 6-1 LA. And now Peterson takes ball one.
Side swing here, ball's down. He liked it. He liked it. He knew he thought he had it. Didn't go out by much though.
He shouldn't be posing on the wall scrapers. So Pill, who had not allowed a home run before tonight in the big leagues, has allowed 2 to Puig and now to Grandal. Peterson has walked twice, scored 2 runs, and he socks one foul, 1 and 2. So the Diamondbacks won that game 16-5 in Colorado to even up that series, snapped the Rockies' 6-game winning streak. Brandon Drury had 4 hits and drove in 6 runs for the D-backs tonight. So the Dodgers with a win tonight can vault back into first place. 1-2 to Peterson as low and in. 2-2. In the Central, the Brewers won. They beat the Reds on a Domingo Santana home run in the 7th. The Cubs lost. The Cubs had been knocking on the door. They were a half-game out start in the day, but the Brewers extend their lead to a game and a half. (3-2) to Peterson with Puig on deck. That's pulled foul. So if the Mets were as annoyed as they were with Puig, or as they appeared to be, will there be a consequence when he comes to bat?
I don't think so. I just didn't think it was that bad. You know, Gary?
I'm with you, but it clearly it rankled some of the Mets. Again, the 3-2, and Peterson goes down swinging. 6 strikeouts for Tyler Pill, a new career high for him. That's the first out in the home 6th, and now Puig. Puig reached on a throwing error by T.J. Rivera in the 3rd, and then with the Dodgers having taken a 2-1 lead in the 4th, he hit a 3-1 fastball out of sight to left field for his 13th home run, a 3-run shot. And Poe goes away for ball 1. Kike Hernandez has come out on deck to pinch hit for the Dodgers. And a breaking ball in for a strike. 1-1 to Puig. 2-1. Well, Pill up over 100 pitches. Threw 93 in his last minor league start last Thursday. And he misses inside. Now he's behind Puig again, 3-1. And Puig gets under this one. Shallow left. Long run for Cespedes. And he gets there for the second out. So Puig is retired. 2 out of the inning. And nobody having any conversation with him as he leaves the field. This time. Now Kike Hernandez will bat for Sergio Romo, who had a very successful return from the DL, working a 1-2-3 inning. Hernandez 0 for 6 in this series. Very useful.
Yeah, he
utility man who started at 7 different positions for the Dodgers this year. Grant Dayton, the lefty, will be in next.
Look at his. You see his front foot? Watch his front foot, folks at home. His stride. I've never seen this. I just noticed it. Let's see if he does it again. Kind of kicks his leg up, but doesn't bend, almost stiff-legged. That's bizarre.
That is strange. He gets one in the air to left center. And Granderson has it lined up. And that retires the side. Yasmani Grandal's home run expands the Dodgers lead. Hill gets through 6 in his 3rd major league start. Dodgers lead at 6-1 as we go to the 7th. The tweet of the game brought to you by Toyota. We asked, do you like the increase in home runs? And Thomas Romano says yes. Likes it. Likes the Tide turning on one swing.
Okay.
Artificial excellence, not good for the game, says Robert Berkowitz. Keep the round trippers coming, says Dave A+.
All right, Dave.
No. Small ball underrated, says Michelle.
Right.
Everybody loves the apple, says Twinkle Mets.
All right.
Brandon Nimmo will pinch hit against the new Dodger pitcher, Grant Dayton, making his second appearance in the series. Dayton, who is not from Ohio, he's from Alabama. Auburn University product. Facing Nimmo, and the pride of Wyoming swings and misses 1-1. Nimmo struck out in his only at bat last night, had a pinch hit single in the game on Monday. Showed a unique ability for a young player to be able to come off the bench and pinch hit during his first trial in the last year. Dayton gets ahead of him 1-2. Curtis Granderson on deck, and then Wilmer Flores for the Mets in the seventh. Mets have had 4 hits today, but they've had oodles of opportunities and let most of them get away. 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position against the starter Rich Hill. 1-2 coming, and Dayton blows it by Nimmo for the first out of the inning. That's 11 strikeouts for Dodger pitchers tonight. Let's answer our Verizon trivia question. Who won the National League MVP in '65 when it was not Sandy Koufax?
Oh, Willie.
Giants did not win the pennant that year, but 52 home runs and 112 RBIs were hard to ignore.
I believe 52 was the last time someone, that was the last time a National Leaguer hit over 50 home runs when George Foster came in with the Cincinnati Reds, and I forget the year, mid-70s, when George hit over 50.
Never hit 50 as a Met.
No, he did not.
Granderson led off the night with a home run, also has a pop fly single, 2 for 3, and he takes it high 2-0. I want to take a moment to note the passing of a very important figure in Mets history. Pete Flynn died today. Pete was the original groundskeeper for the Mets at the Polo Grounds and at Shea Stadium, and was a member of the Mets grounds crew even at Citi Field until he retired in 2011. He was honored with the Mets Hall of Fame Achievement Award in 2012. He very famously drove the Beatles to the stage in 1965 and then drove McCartney back to the stage at the last concert at Shea in 2008. Pete was he was a huge figure around the ballpark for so many years.
I remember when I came over to the Mets, not in '83, but with the first full season '84, he came up and asked me if there's anything that I needed around the infield that they could help me with, and I said, Pete, that infield is perfect. I have complete trust in the infield.
Granderson hits one deep to right, but Puig has this one lined up, and that's the second out.
Well, Pete had the Irish brogue, Irish accent, was a wonderful man. And he loved us. He loved the players, folks. I mean, he would come out. He would, you know, we're at home at Shea Stadium. It's the ground crew that comes out and sets up the batting cage and gets everything all set up. And Pete was always there and loved to converse with us. And it's a sad passing. I loved Pete. He was a good man.
Pete Flynn was 79 years old, and he had himself quite a life, and will be remembered forever in Mets lore as the keeper of the field. Wilmer Flores 1 for 3 tonight, doubled back in the first inning. Mets haven't had a hit since the fourth when Darno had a base hit up the middle. That was the inning the Mets loaded the bases with nobody out, came up empty, and it seems like they have been back on their heels ever since. Rich Hill went the first 5, allowed a run on 4 hits, struck out 8. Sergio Romo worked a 1-2-3-6. Then now Dayton trying to do the same in the 7th. Wilmer takes it high, 2-1. In at the knees for a strike, and it's 2-2 to Flores. Grant Dayton, who made his big league debut last year. And Flores fouls back his fastball. 25 games with the Dodgers last year. He was very successful. 26 innings, 14 hits. He's had a little problem with walks this year, so they sent him down to the minor leagues for a time. But he's looked good so far in this series. And he strikes out Flores to end the inning. 1-2-3 go the Mets in the top of the 7th. Couple of strikeouts for Dayton. As we remember the Mets groundskeeper for all time, Pete Flynn. By Bob's Discount Furniture. Shop in store or online at mybobs.com. By Nissan. Get to America's best sales event at Nissan for Independence Day savings. Shop ChooseNissan.com. And by Taiwan Tourism. It's time for Taiwan. Search taiwan.net.tw.
Second baseman number 26.
Neil Ramirez will take over the pitching for the Mets in the bottom of the 7th.
Well, Neil has been getting a little more work lately. Mainly in a cleanup role.
Got himself into and out of a big jam in the opening game of the series on Monday night. Gave up 2 hits and a walk, but was able to work through it without allowing a run. He'll face the top of the batting order. Chase Utley leads off in the home 7th. Utley's 0 for 3 tonight. Grounded out, flied out, struck out, and takes a first pitch curveball from Ramirez for a strike. So Tyler Pill in his 3rd big league start got further into the game than he had in the first 2. 107 pitches in 6 innings, allowed 5 hits, 6 runs, 5 earned, 3 walks, 2 of those intentional, 6 strikeouts, and what really hurt him, the 2 home runs.
Well, the one was a solo shot. The 3-run shot by Puig really put a damper on his evening.
It's made a couple of errors behind him. One of them cost him an unearned run. Corey Seager on deck, and then Chris Taylor in the 7th. And a call strike to Utley, 1-2. Chase Utley, 38 years old. Not an everyday player anymore, but still playing plenty.
Still in the big leagues.
Had a good year last year for the Dodgers. 252, 14 home runs. 2-2 coming, and he struck him out. Good slider by Ramirez to get Utley for the first out of the inning.
Little down and in slider out of the strike zone.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Corey Seager. Seager is grounded out, been intentionally walked, then had a base hit and stole a base in the 5th. 1 for 2 on the day, 7 for 12 in this series after his 3 home run game last night. And a call strike at the knees. Well, unless the Mets can rally in this game, they would find themselves 9 games under 500 for the first time this season. And in the wake of Jay Bruce comments after the game last night about time getting short, how does a team handle this, especially a team that has so many potential free agents when they're expected to be a contender? And here you are on the first day of summer, and things appear to be slipping maybe close to beyond your reach.
Well, I don't think the amount of free agents is a factor, because it's all.
Seager strikes out for the second out.
You're a team that came into the year with great expectations. You've had a plethora of injuries to key players. You're pitching. The free agent has nothing to do with it. It's just as a team, you're in this team. You started from scratch. Your goal is to get to where you want the World Series at the end, be a world champion. And I think this team is a little bit shocked, to be honest with you. They were bubbling with confidence in spring training gear. We felt it, and I felt it. But they are in trouble right now. This will be their 40th loss tonight if they go down.
But you don't think it plays differently that you have so many guys, Duda and Granderson and Bruce and Reed and Cabrera, all of whom can be free agents after this year, knowing that if this team doesn't pick it up soon, that they might have another address in 6 weeks?
You can't worry about that. You just really can't. I mean, depending, there might be some guys that might want to move on. There might be, and then there's those that don't want to move on. They love New York, so it's part of baseball. I mean, I got uprooted in St. Louis.
Teller's fly ball lands in the glove of Granderson, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Neil Ramirez in the bottom of the 7th. On we go to the 8th with the Mets down 6-1.
All right, Dodger fans, it's time for Right Combination Trivia presented by State Farm.
Santa Monica Pier still bustling at this late hour. And it's bustling here at Dodger Stadium, too. Over 40,000 on hand. There's tonight's starters brought to you by People's United Bank. Mets had plenty of chances against Rich Hill, but managed just the 1 run in 5 innings. Tyler Pill gave up 2 home runs. That doomed his night in his 3rd big league start. Be at Citi Field Saturday, July 1st. The Mets take on the Phillies at 4:10 p.m. The first 15,000 fans in attendance will receive an Asdrubal Cabrera bobblehead, courtesy of Citi. For tickets, visit Mets.com/tickets. Asdrubal should be back with the Mets by this weekend when they get to San Francisco after playing his 2nd rehab game today, coming back from a thumb injury. Brandon Morrow, just back from the minor leagues, will pitch for the Dodgers in the 8th inning. Morrow at one time a starting pitcher in Seattle and Toronto, pitched the last 2 years for San Diego. Yoenis Cespedes leads off and takes ball 1. Cespedes has struck out twice and walked tonight.
Cespedes is a little off at the plate, and the Mets at this stage really need him to turn it on.
Flare into right. That's falling fast. Puig diving, can't get it, knocks it across the outfield. Cespedes will go to second and make it easily. Good try by Puig, but came up a little shy and then scooted the ball over to center field, and the Cespedes winds up with a double.
Well, a good effort here by Puig. Didn't smother the ball. Kind of kicks it into left field, and Cespedes easily with a stand-up double.
So the Mets with their first hit since the 4th inning, and just their 5th hit of the night. And now Bruce has walked twice and fly deep to center, 0 for 1. Morrow at one time was a very hard thrower. Still can get it up there, but he throws a lot more cutters now than he used to.
Well, you cannot play this game forever, unfortunately.
Satchel Paige almost did.
He sure did.
Did Satchel pitch in a major league game when he was 60?
I believe
the
so.
Kansas City A's. That's amazing. I mean, Julio Franco almost made it till he was 50.
Yes, he did. He was in great shape.
Boyd Wilhelm pitched into his late 40s.
Knuckleballer.
Charlie Huff pitched deep into his 40s too. I guess a bunch of knuckleballers have. Phil Negro. They were all well into their 40s.
How old was Warren? How deep did Warren Spahn go?
43 maybe.
Yeah. But he last year with the Mets, and he went he got traded to the Giants mid-season from the Mets.
I mean, Bartolo's 44. Ichiro's 43. That's not quite forever, but it's a lot of years. 2-2 now to Bruce. In Brandon Morrow's case, he's only 32. He's got a long way to go. Might just have to reinvent himself a little bit. Cespedes at second and nobody out. 2-2 coming to Bruce, and he goes down swinging. 1 down. Drive around the majors presented by Cadillac. 18 straight games, new American League record, that the Orioles have allowed at least 5 runs. Carlos Carrasco pitched for the Indians tonight, and they continue to roll. The Diamondbacks blow out the Rockies. Brandon Drury drove in 6. And for the 2nd straight night, the Cardinals beat the Phillies in extra innings. Tommy Pham had a home run. Yadier Molina had a big hit in the 10th to help win it for the Cardinals. Big cut by d'Arnaud, and it's 0-1. The Phillies have now lost 13 of their last 14. And as much as the Mets have struggled, there is one team behind them in their division. Phillies with that loss are now 22-48. Mets are in a stretch right now leading into the All-Star break where they're on the road almost constantly. This series here, then in San Francisco, then in Miami. They go home for 3 days to play the Phillies, and then back on the road for the last week before the break, going to Washington and St. Louis. And d'Arnaud down on 3 fastballs, 98 miles an hour for Morrow, who can still dial it up when he needs to. And there are 2 out.
3 fastballs, 3 swings and misses. All upstairs.
So after the Cespedes double, Morrow has struck out the next 2. That is 14 strikeouts for Dodger pitchers tonight. Here's T.J. Rivera. And he grounds one slowly to Seager. And that retires the side. Mets are now 0 for 12 with runners in scoring position tonight. You can see all the stars as you walk down Hollywood Boulevard.
There they are. Who's Eleanor Boardman?
Did you really start? On what's happening with the Knicks, the NBA draft, and Porzingis on SNY.TV, your online home for all things New York sports. So wouldn't really trade Porzingis, would he?
I haven't been paying attention. I've got enough on my plate right here.
Well, so does Neil Ramirez, because he has to face Cody Bellinger leading off in the bottom of the 8th. Bellinger 1 for 3 tonight, has gone homerless so far tonight after hitting 2 on Monday and 1 last night, and 10 in his last 10 games. Bellinger had a double in the 4th inning and scored the go-ahead run in this game, and the Dodgers haven't looked back. Meanwhile, the Mets have gone 0 for 12 with runners in scoring position. It's hard to do.
No, the big one was the 4th inning. They had a chance to pile on. The bases loaded, nobody out, and they left them all stranded of 3 straight strikeouts.
It was a 1-1 game at the time, and then the Dodgers scored 4 in the bottom of that inning, and they were off to the races. Bellinger, Forsythe, and Grandal in the bottom of the 8th against Ramirez in his 2nd inning. And Bellinger with a massive swing fouls back the slider.
That would have been hit out of sight if he'd have connected.
Luis Avilan, the former Atlanta Brave, up in the bullpen. One-two coming to Bellinger, and he struck him out with a high fastball. So Ramirez has faced 4, retired them all, striking out 3. Second time Bellinger's been struck out tonight.
Number 11, Logan Forsythe.
Upstairs.
Still 1 out. Now Logan Forsythe, who doubled in the go-ahead run in the 4th inning, 1 for 3 on the night.
Well, there's only been 10 hits in this game, 5 apiece, and the Dodgers have capitalized with 6 runs.
Fly ball toward the right field corner. Bruce getting over there, and that's the 2nd out. So that's 5 straight retired by Ramirez tonight on Geico Sports Night after the post game. The NBA draft in the offing. Football news and of course all the baseball on Geico Sports Night. Be sure to stay up because it is well worth whatever grogginess you might have tomorrow after you stay up late. Post game show, Geico Sports Night. It'll take you to about what, 2:33 a.m. and then you can go to bed.
You've been able to get back to the hotel room and go to sleep, or you've been kind of restless?
I usually stay up for a little bit.
I haven't been able to, you know, and think about it. We're 3 hours behind. We're we're on Eastern time, so it's like 3 in the morning at midnight, and I've been having a hard time zonking out.
Well, I was able to sleep till 9:15 this morning, which I consider a big plus when we on the West Coast. Could after all, that's 12:15 Eastern time.
I'd like to get up early. I get up at 7:30.
Really?
I don't want to get on Western time. Pacific, excuse me.
When in Rome, Keith.
You sound like my father.
That's the first time you've ever said that to me in all these years.
Was his, when you're in Rome, do as the Romans do, son.
Wow. Me and Juan. I must be aging by the hour.
Yes. These 3-hour games will do it to you.
1-2 to Grandal, and he launches one to deep right center field. Back toward the wall, and it's out of here. Second home run of the night for Yasmani Grandal, his 9th of the year. And the Dodgers just keep on hitting the long balls. That's 12 now in this series, and the Dodgers lead 7-1. Four home runs Monday night, 5 home runs last night, and 3 more tonight. 2 of them off the bat of the Dodger catcher, who's now homered 3 times in this series.
Wow. This is no doubt, too. He crushed his high fastball.
Eighth career multiple home run game for Grandal. And his 2nd this year. Now Jock Peterson.
Well, he takes a very big stride. Full extension. He knew he had it too.
Well, in their last game at home before this series, the Dodgers hit 4 home runs against the Reds. Then they hit 4 home runs Monday, 5 home runs last night. No team has ever hit 4 home runs in 4 straight home games. It's never happened in Major League history. If they were to hit 1 more tonight, they would have that mark to themselves. As it is, it's only the 6th time or the 7th time that the team's hit 4 or more in 3 straight home games. One and 2 to Peterson, who's walked twice and struck out tonight. We mentioned earlier that the last 5 days in baseball have been the most home run happy 5-day period in the 142-year history of Major League Baseball. So it's not just here, it's everywhere. Ramirez had retired 5 in a row before the Grandal home run. 1-2 to Peterson. And he tried to hold the swing, and he did. 2-2. Coming up after we're done here, it's WB Mason postgame live. Gary Apple and Nelson Figueroa again the late night duty. And they will bring you up to date on all things Mets, interviews, highlights, analysis, a few surprises. WB Mason postgame live. Peterson nearly swung out of his socks and fouled it back.
That's one thing the Dodgers left-hand hitters do. Seager, Bellinger, Peterson, they swing, they come out of their shoes.
Well, what's the solution to that?
Well, there was a day when someone took that kind of a rip that you got put on your back, or much worse, but when in your ribs, you know, which is fair game. But that doesn't happen anymore.
Well, we saw Gazelman throw one up and into Puig last night after he got cuffed around in the first inning. That's the closest thing we've seen. The slider misses to Peterson, and it's 3-2. And Puig is on deck. In the ninth, the Mets will have Reyes, Cecchini, and the pitcher spot due up. (3-2) coming, and Peterson walks for the third time tonight. And that'll get Puig to the plate. There's tonight's quote of the game from Pee Wee Reese. Said one thing he would do differently is swing more. Said nobody remembers those 1,200 walks, but Pee Wee, if you played today, they'd be talking about your on-base percentage, and everybody would remember.
Pee Wee was a lovely man.
Tonight's quote of the game presented by Investors Bank, banking in your best interest.
Pee Wee, we worked for Louisville Slugger all those years, and he came down to the minor league camps to look at the talent and figure out who Louisville should sign to a contract at an early age. And I was one of those, and I got to meet him, and he's a very congenial man, lovely man, class act, always dressed impeccably.
I remember Pee Wee doing the game of the week on NBC back in the 60s.
He's very kind to me.
1-1 to Puig. And Ramirez up and away, 2-1. You know, it's interesting reading that quote from Pee Wee about the value of walks and strikeouts for that matter, and how attitudes about them have changed.
Well, Pee Wee was a leadoff hitter, was he not? So you got to get on base. You're a table setter.
But I was reading this week about the Houston Astros, and you know, the sabermetric mantra has been that a strikeout for a hitter is the same as every other out.
Right.
And now the Astros are flipping that on their head. They've decided that's completely wrong, and they're going the other direction.
Agreed.
Swing early in the count. Don't worry about working the pitcher. Don't strike out. Put it in play. That's foul ball. And you know, we're talking about the team with the best record in the major leagues, so that makes other people listen. And you know, nothing succeeds in this game better than following the leader, right? When a team does something well, other teams tend to pay attention.
Well, Lunau's got a very good reputation.
And you know, the Astros, they hit home runs, but they hit home runs without striking out a lot because they're attacking early in the count, not worrying so much about running up counts and drawing walks, but making sure they put the ball in play.
And they got a nice ballpark to hit home runs. That left field line is a joke.
Peterson will run 3-2 to Puig, and the breaking ball popped up, might stay in play right near the dugout, and not quite. And they'll do it again. But it's interesting how attitudes change, because you know, everybody plays follow the leader, and the analytics got to a certain point where they to most teams that strikeouts didn't matter for hitters. And now to see an industry leader express the opposite opinion, to me, is fascinating. Again, the 3-2, and that's ball 4. So back-to-back walks by Ramirez, who can't quite put this inning to bed. Retired the first 2, gave up the home run to Grandal, and now walks to Peterson and Puig, and Austin Barnes will now come up to pinch hit. Eric Goodell just called up today, up for the second time in the Mets bullpen. Dan Warthen out to talk to Ramirez, who threw just 11 pitches to get through the 7th inning, but has already thrown 25 pitches here in the 8th. So Barnes will pinch it. He had one at bat in the game last night and struck out. He is the backup catcher for the Dodgers, but he can also play other places. Wonder whether maybe they'll have him catch the 9th to give Grandal an inning off. So 2 out and 2 on now for Barnes. And Ramirez misses high with the fastball. And he went around on that half swing. 1-1. Austin Barnes, originally drafted by the Marlins, came over to the Dodgers in the deal that sent Dee Gordon to the Marlins 3 winters ago. And a slider at the knees for a strike, and it's 1-2.
I think the Dodgers would regret that trade. Obviously, I think Dee Gordon would fit nicely in this ball club at second base.
Of course, the Dodgers first played Gordon at shortstop, where he was a little overmatched defensively, and obviously is fit far better as a second baseman. 2-2 now to Barnes. Marlins also got Miguel Rojas in that deal. Nice, useful utility man.
How many pitches has he thrown this inning?
He has thrown 29 pitches this inning, and this is about to be the 30th. And he only threw 5 to get the first 2 outs. It's been a bit of a slog since. 2-2 coming, and it's fouled away. And there'll be a 31st pitch thrown by Neil Ramirez in the bottom of the 8th. In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida?
How about that?
How often do you hear the organist go for In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida?
Iron Butterfly. That song took a whole album LP side.
I know. I heard it on the radio the other day.
It's great.
On deep tracks?
Yes.
They played the whole thing.
It's better lying down on the couch.
Well, that's too high, and yet another full count for Ramirez. You know, this song was originally supposed to be in the Garden of Eden.
Oh, really?
They changed it to In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida.
And I love.
Doesn't mean anything.
I love the guy's voice.
Here's the 3-2. That's lined into center field, a base hit for Barnes. That'll bring in Peterson. Puig will go to third. Austin Barnes with an RBI single, tacks on a run, and it's 8-1 LA. And Terry's going to have no choice but to pull Ramirez here, as he just cannot close the door on this inning. Retired the first 2, but nothing's gone right from there. 32 pitches in this inning for Ramirez, and he will exit. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon. Eric Goodell will make his season debut for the Mets when we come back. debut for the Mets. So he was having a rough go of it at Vegas, although pitching a little bit better lately. Eric, who was in 36 games with the Mets last year, had elbow surgery in the offseason to remove bone chips, and now making his 2017 debut. First and third and 2 out, with 2 runs home in the 8th, 8-1 LA, and one UCLA guy facing another, Eric Goodell and Chase Utley, both Bruins of renown.
Little Cubby Bears.
A few years apart. In fact, 10 years apart, right? Utley was drafted in 2000 by the Phillies. Goodell drafted in 2010 by the Mets. Perhaps they faced each other in an alumni game, or shared a Chardonnay in Westwood.
You ever walk the campus of UCLA?
It's beautiful.
Oh.
Grounded down to first. Flores at the bag. Side retired. So Goodell gets the out. Bruin versus Bruin. And that sends us to the 9th. 8-1 LA. School ballers as SNY and Overtime team up to bring you the best New York City hoops highlights all summer long. Check it out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. There's your Mets box score brought to you by Fidelis Care. Curtis Granderson hit a home run on the second pitch of the game, and the Mets haven't scored since, going 0 for 12 with runners in scoring position. The former Atlanta Brave Luis Avilan comes on to try and close it for the Dodgers. Jose Reyes leads off in the 9th inning with the Mets down 8-1. Reyes is 0 for 3, a fly ball and 2 strikeouts tonight. And Avilan throws low and away for ball 1. Gavin Cecchini on deck, and then the pitcher's spot for the Mets, who, barring a huge rally here in the 9th, will lose for the 3rd straight time and the 6th time in their last 7 games. The Dodgers, meanwhile, on the verge of their 6th straight win, 12 of their last 13, and if they win this game, they'll move back into first place in the National League West, with the Rockies having lost to the Diamondbacks tonight. Dodgers trying to go to 21 games over 500. The Mets would slip to 9 games under, which would be their low water mark for the year. 3-0 though to Reyes, starting off in the 9th. Avilan now in his 2nd full season with the Dodgers. They got him during the year in 2015. Limited by injury last year, but making his 28th appearance of this season. Trying to close it out for Rich Hill. And there's a strike on the corner, 3-1. Austin Barnes, who pinch hit, stayed in the game at second base, giving Utley the 9th inning off. And Reyes hits one in the air to center field. Peterson ambles back. 1 out.
Second baseman number 2, Gavin.
So 1 out and nobody on in the top of the 9th. Now Gavin Cecchini, who's 0 for 3 today. Peterson and Puig, who nearly collided yesterday, they've had some issues about who goes where. And Peterson putting out his hand saying, Yasiel, you stay away. Even after catching the ball.
You can do that when you're up 8-1 in the 9th inning.
Curveball for a strike to Cecchini. Gavin has struck out twice and grounded out. That's line toward left, a base hit for Cecchini. So the Mets have their 6th hit of the night, a 1-out base runner.
Broken bat single right there off the end of the bat.
Now Michael Conforto will pinch hit. Conforto sitting tonight. It's been a struggle lately for Michael. 0 for 7 in this series. And with the Dodgers starting a left-hander tonight, Curtis Granderson got the start, and Granderson's accounted for the Mets' only run with his leadoff home run. Dodgers are throwing another lefty tomorrow, Hyunjin Ryu, and then the Mets will face 2 more lefties in San Francisco, Ty Blach on Friday night and Matt Moore on Sunday. Mets are a team more designed to face righties than to face lefties. And the changeup in for a strike, 0-1 to Conforto. Mets are 6-8, perhaps soon to be 6-9 this year in games started by left-handers against them. And because there are very few left-handed starters in the National League East, and the Mets played so many games against their own division early, in the first 60 games this year, the Mets faced only 10 left-handed starters, but now they're in a stretch where they're facing 8 lefties in a 14-game span. The Dodgers with a rotation that's replete with lefties, and the Giants more of the same. 1-2 to Conforto with Granderson on deck. Now the 1-2, and it's in the dirt. Stopped by Grandal, 2-2.
I don't know what you can possibly write down on that sheet of paper. Terry's always thinking down there. Always thinking.
Broken back grounder down to Bellinger. Goes to Seager for 1. The return throw not in time. Nicely executed by Bellinger.
Another nice pick by Bellinger. He is really sweet with the glove. Look at that. 2 hands. Good feed. He gets back to the bag. Not an easy hop. He knows what he's doing around there. There it is again, the backhand. Nice read.
Conforto able to beat the rap at first to keep the game alive. But now the Mets are down to their final out with Granderson coming up. Curtis is 2 for 4 tonight. Hit the second pitch of the game from Rich Hill out of the ballpark. His 8th home run of the year. His 19th leadoff home run as a Met, tying him with Jose Reyes for the Mets club record. 43rd leadoff home run of Curtis's career. Conforto runs, they'll let him go on defensive indifference. Ball 1 to Granderson.
Oh, please.
And Avilan needs to know what the signs are.
8-1. 2 outs. You know what Gene Dennis used to do when it was 8-1, 2 outs in the ninth. The pitcher looking for a sign, he'd just go with his hand, both hands. Just come on, come to me. What are you looking for a sign for? Fastball. Let's get out of here.
I'll adjust.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah, Curtis takes the changeup for a strike, and it's 1-1. Let's see. Are we the last game standing tonight? Astros won in Oakland 5-1. 49-24 for Houston now. They're still going in Seattle, though. Mariners up 7-4 on the Tigers. That's the only other game still working. In the air to deep right field. Back goes Puig near the wall, and it's off the wall. An extra base hit for Granderson that barely missed getting out. And Curtis will settle for an RBI double to make it 8-2. So the third hit of the night for Granderson, a homer, a single, and now a long double.
I like the way you called that, Garrett.
Well,
it was very good.
It was almost gone, but not quite. Right there.
Oh.
I mean, you can't miss by less than that. I think Puig thought it was going to be gone.
Yes, he didn't really break at all for you. Just thought it was going to sail.
So now it's 8-2, and here's Flores. Wilmer has a double in 4 trips tonight. So for Granderson, he gets a spot start with Conforto getting a night off, and he has 3 hits, all against lefties. 2 against Hill, and now 1 against Avilan. And the Mets finally get a hit with a runner in scoring position. They had been, what, 0 for 12 to that point? So they're 1 for 13 now with runners in scoring position tonight. It only took them till 2 out in the ninth. One and 1 to Wilmer. And now the Mets are down to their final strike.
Wilmer's been swinging through that fastball up and away the entire game.
And Flores strikes out on the changeup, and that'll do it. The Dodgers beat the Mets for the 3rd straight night. They hit 3 home runs tonight, including the 3-run shot by Puig that opened things up in the 4th inning. And the Mets have now dropped 6 of 7 and fallen 9 games under 500 for the first time this year as the Dodgers win this one 8-2.
Well, it has not been a good start to this road trip. Mets have not played well. They have definitely not pitched well. They've given up a lot of home runs. They've fallen behind early, and it's just too hard a hill to climb, and the winning pitcher is Hill. Full goes 4 and 3.
Game summary brought to you by Volkswagen. Dodgers fit 12 home runs in the first 3 games of this series. They win this one 8-2. We'll come back with more from LA in just a moment.